What's the next thing you think Tesla's going to add to their vertical integration? Is it going to be this steel piece, the mining piece? Elon has sort of floated the idea of maybe getting into the mining business. I saw someone on Twitter talk about getting into the rubber and tire business. What do you think? Where will Tesla go next to capitalize on their vertical integration?
I think it's more control over the battery pack itself, which is kind of maybe a boring answer, but the in-house battery cell production, which you and me have been talking about for like a year, but nobody actually thinks that's going to happen in the real world. So if that gets announced, that will be a fundamental game changer and the biggest step in Tesla's vertical integration that we've seen. And frankly, really is a testament to their technology because they're relying on Panasonic. Every other auto company in the world is relying on these third-party battery suppliers. If Tesla just says, screw you, we can do it better, that is an incredible, that's billions of dollars worth of technological value that they brought in-house. That means they have better tech for way cheaper. And the biggest thing that Tesla needs to do is expand battery production from 35 gigawatt hours to a terawatt hour. That's how we solve the climate crisis. That's how they build millions of cars. We need more batteries. And Tesla goes vertical to solve the bottleneck challenges that they have. And so I think the next one is battery cell production. Let's think one layer beyond that. How do we get those raw materials to build those batteries? Does that mean acquiring Redwood Materials, JB Straubel's recycling company? Or does that mean we get into mining? I think that's a 50-50. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm curious if what you think, because you threw out a lot of theories there for me. Do you
Yeah,
have any others?
yeah. I don't know. I do think that the battery, the cells, the raw materials is definitely a part that probably has not seen innovation in a while. Tesla's been sort of this middleman with the battery cells. And my understanding is that they are not deep into they're not deep into the raw materials process. I think that they care a lot about. My understanding is they care a lot about making sure that they're sourced ethically, the raw materials. But in terms of innovation, there's probably some cost advantages if they can get in there and figure out how to make it more efficient. If they can control the raw materials and the cost of the raw materials, then they can control the cost of the cells and the battery pack. So that is certainly interesting. You brought up something in terms of recycling. That's probably another piece that has an opportunity to see some innovations too. But my guess is Tesla's probably on the front end of that already because they're the largest producer of lithium batteries. So there probably is some opportunity there. But I think that there's more opportunity on the raw material side. And I'm just going to take a wild guess to say that these companies who've been mining raw materials have been doing it for decades, and they've been doing it the same way for since the very beginning. So could Tesla come in, acquire mining companies and raw material companies, and control a little bit more of that cost at the early stage?
And I think you're on point with this because Elon does everything for Mars, as crazy and dumb as that sounds. But if you talk about mining in space, the biggest innovation the Boring Company is doing is electrifying the tunnel digging process. And that is because they have Tesla's batteries, that whole battery powertrain tech goes back to this disrupting a whole other industry there. So I think if Tesla could somehow figure out a way to electrify mining equipment with that same technology, there's sort of like a clear disruptive technological innovation that gives Tesla an edge to make it mine more sustainably, cheaper, faster, more automated. So when I see that, I think you're onto something there. And it has to do a lot with the Boring Company.
I would not be surprised if they start sharing technology, just as we talked about earlier with SpaceX
Well,
and
they
Tesla.
have. The Boring machine runs on Tesla's batteries and powertrains. I'm pretty
Absolutely.
sure they're buying them for that.
You're exactly right. No,
Yeah.
yeah, they're powering those boring machines with Tesla batteries. Absolutely.
So I have another crazy moonshot that we're talking about this. A little bit different, but I think the ATV is a small platform, and I think it got a little really overlooked. I think now that makes it really easy to launch a snowmobile, all these sort of other, maybe this isn't a move the needle thing, but I was not expecting Tesla to get into this, but it looks like they're about to, and it signals that they're willing to modify their battery pack to something smaller. So when I think about licensing their skateboard and their batteries, I'm like, why would you license it to a car company that sucks, that's doing it for the wrong reasons, that's competing with you head on? Why not license it to a company like Arcimoto who's not competing with you head on, who's made in America, who's doing it for the right reasons. That's awesome. So I don't know. That's just another kind of thing floating in the back of my head of what could Tesla do next that people aren't thinking of. These smaller form factor vehicles. I think the ATV, they don't just do the ATV and then leave it. They're going to sell it as an add-on. They're eventually going to sell it as a standalone. They're going to use that same battery and powertrain for, I think a snowmobile, maybe a boat. I don't know.
I wonder the market potential for that. I wonder if they can make a larger impact on consumer and commercial vehicles. I don't know. I don't know enough about the volume production for some of these recreational vehicles. I know that Nikola Motor, is sort of dipping their toes into that. They've showed off a Wave Runner as well as I think some quad motor variants, but some off-road ATVs. I'm not sure about the market potential for that and whether Tesla should be spending their time on that sort of stuff. I'd much rather see, them start to use their batteries to get into energy storage, rolling that out, homes, commercial buildings, powering everything with solar and battery packs.
Totally. But to play devil's advocate here, the reason why I think this is actually a threat to Tesla in the back of my head is cars are extremely inefficient. You're one person in this massive car. That's like, if the efficiency of that is extremely low, if you're a one passenger trip, which is 85% of trips. Cities are extremely clogged and congested because of this inefficiency of the way we use space of our vehicles. So I think, and when I think a long term about the future of transportation in cities, I think there's a tremendous opportunity for innovation of smaller form factor vehicles for us to get around way more efficiently, and that to sort of be a much bigger and growing piece of the transportation puzzle. And so that's kind of why I think always in the back of my head, I'm like, is the car what gets us around in 50 years or 20 years? Or is there a smaller one person thing that for smaller trips, it's way more efficient that unclogs cities? And so I don't know, just to push back and play devil's advocate, but that's kind of in the back of my head. I'm always thinking like, how does this evolve?
Yeah, fair point, and I think time will tell for certain. I want to make sure and give a shout out to an event that both you and I are going to be at the beginning of February, Fully Charged Live. You're going to be there, right? I think I saw February 1st and 2nd. Fully Charged Live. So I want to give them a shout out because for those that have watched this hour-long interview, if you've gotten this far, you're probably a committed and dedicated viewer of both of our channels. So if you want to see us and meet with us and chat it up with us, Fully Charged Live, February 1st and 2nd. Hit us up in the comments if you need a discount link. I think we can get that to you. Either of us can. So hopefully we see you there. And Gally, thanks for coming on again and chatting. Really appreciate it. It's always good to chat it up and talk Tesla and electric cars.
Dude, so great talking, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Cool, man. Talk soon.